for us, the producers and the musicians are the heroes who upload their samples and who make these things happen. It is cool for producers to be involved in lots of streams, arrangements all over the globe, which are being generated in real time for different people. This gives the new kind of approach to musicians and to listeners to be a little bit more close to each other, but based on AI technologies.
You're listening to Music Growth Talks, the podcast for musicpreneurs, with Andrew Apanov.
Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Apanov, this is Music Growth Talks, and I'm finally getting to continue publishing all of the good conversations I've recorded for you in the past few weeks. We have a lot of good stuff planned, so stay tuned, and in order to stay tuned, consider subscribing to our email newsletter at musicgrowthtalks.com. I looked into some stats and realized that there is a lot of you folks who are subscribed to the podcast in your podcasting apps, which is awesome, but you are not subscribed via email. I've been sending out newsletters for 10 years now, several times a month, sometimes weekly, but these days focusing on just sharing new podcast episodes, sometimes with additional context and useful links, only delivering the practical information. So I would just highly recommend you to get there. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go to musicgrowthtalks.com. You'll just need to enter your email. It will take you seconds, but I will be really glad to know who you are, and I promise to only deliver some good stuff to you. So now about today's episode. This is a conversation with the founder of Mubert, and the timing with getting this one out seems quite interesting. As I was working on preparing this show last week, I first stumbled upon a brand new partnership between Mubert and an app called Reply, allowing you to rap over beats generated in real time with the help of Mubert now clearly. And just yesterday, Mubert got featured as an app of the day in Russian Apple App Store, followed by a similar feature in Japan. And for the context, the app is growing really fast in popularity in Asia right now. So what is Mubert? The app I personally have been using for months now. What's generative music? You're going to learn it all from Alex directly right away. I don't need to get into detail prior to that, really. Now I will only tease you a bit and quote Alex saying on this very conversation that in the nearest future, music streams created in the app will be the combination of talents of musicians and the moods of the listeners. This is some big stuff. AI in music creation is definitely a controversial topic, and I know how negatively some of you might be seeing it still, but listen on, things don't seem too bad for artists at all here, in my opinion. You will know what I mean if you listen to this conversation in full. Do let me know what you think though, later in the comments, on SoundCloud, on Instagram, Twitter, or email. And if you have something positive to say, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It's always massively appreciated because it helps the podcast being discovered by other creatives and industry people and so on. And yeah, I'm linking to some of the social media profiles of Mubert as well. So if you have any questions or feedback, feel free to just comment on a post on Instagram of Mubert. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Alex. Here we go. Alex, welcome to Music Growth Talks. Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, hi. How are you?
Doing great, and to all the listeners of ours, it's quite an unusual case here because it's two Russians recording a podcast episode in English and switching to English just a few seconds ago, but we should do all right, I think. Anyway, so once again, glad to have you on the podcast, and I actually want to ask you to get straight into the beautiful thing that you are building. Could you explain to us from a consumer perspective what Mubert does?
So 3 years ago, I have founded Mubert. I was thinking about it while I was jogging in the park, and I thought that could it be can I imagine the product that can generate music in real time. And that's how Mubert was born. And for next 3 years, we have been developing this system, which allows to every listener to get his own generative music stream based on the genres or activities. Then it will be based on the mood, on some learning things. So Mubert is the world's first generative music streaming. It's the iOS and Android application that generates music in real time. And this music is being generated from the samples which are uploaded by hundreds of musicians all over the world. So all the music is human made, but generated by the algorithm. And the algorithm is the program that just generates the arrangement of the music, and it generates it by some musical and technical things that allows people allows music to be more personal for people.
Yeah.
So our target is to make the personal music, to make the new one radio when you get your own music based on your mood and behavior.
Yeah, so I can say from personal experience that it works really well. I enjoy listening to streams on Mubert, and sometimes because I've been listening to it for quite some time, and I know that you are yet to open the platform to a lot more producers. I mean, it's already the technology for being involved as a producer is out there, and we are going to talk about that more. But sometimes I may hear a similar same sample playing, but it's a completely different arrangement, and overall it's a unique ongoing mix. It's really cool, and this is why I'm so excited about what you do. You're not removing musicians and producers out of the equation here. It's you have used artificial intelligence somewhere in some of the presentations, I think, but it's not like everything is created by machines and we don't need musicians anymore. Everything is created by musicians, but your technology just turns it into a unique arrangement and mix each time. It's really cool and impressive. So yes, generative music. Any comments on the scene? How it looks? What's happening in the music world right now? Are there any particular developments overall in that area? Because you mentioned that you're the first app that does generative thing specifically.
Yeah, we were the first app that have been working in real time, and we first created the streaming with the generative music. Our main idea is to use the music of musicians. So for us, the producers and the musicians are the heroes who upload their samples and who make these things happen. Today, lots of companies need the generative music to be integrated to their systems because it is unique, it is adaptive, it can be adapted to any kind of things about the brand. And the generative music helps large brands to be more unique, to be more personal to their listeners. And it is cool for producers to be involved in lots of streams, lots of arrangements all over the globe, which are being generated in real time for different people. And when your sample can be used, for example, in hip hop or in another stream, it can be used in chill out stream. This gives the new kind of approach to musicians and to listeners to be a little bit more close to each other, but on the AI technologies, based on AI technologies.
Yeah. That makes sense. So the technology. So there are now two types of kind of potential actual consumers: the listeners, for just anyone like me, just streaming music from the app on their phone for just personal pleasure or to focus on work or to jog, and businesses. What kind of, do you have any examples of the kinds of businesses that benefit from using Mubert?
Yeah, sure. It can be any kind of business, but mostly the generative music is wanted by some commercial brands like stores, hotels, and etc. The other large market is the streaming, the game streaming, the content creation streaming, YouTube, Twitch, Omelette Arcade. So there are lots of large applications with millions of streamers and millions of viewers who need the generative music to be integrated because of copyright protection of the music which is released by major labels. So lots of companies need music, but they do not have rights on this music. And generative music opens the new opportunities for them.
So when you talk about streaming, you don't talk about like Spotify, where it's just music streaming, where people come for music to stream the music, but where they come for some other kind of experience, like to watch someone on Twitch or like some video live streams where music is used in the background, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so that does make sense, and I'm really looking forward to the kinds of partnerships you might have in the nearest future. I see like a massive potential here. And finally, so this is what our listeners who are musicians and producers themselves might be a topic that they might be interested in. How to be involved, what kind of benefits musicians might get out of using Mubert. I know that there is a couple of things here. So how to get started, and what's the point of getting your samples onto the platform?
So today you can upload your samples and create your generative streams, which can be played inside the application. Today we have more than 200,000 of monthly active users who listen to Mubert, mostly in Japan, Brazil, Asia, and USA and Russia. So you can create your experimental streams, and they will be released inside the application, which will be soon updated. And there you will be able to see your nickname and the name of your stream in the application. Also, we buy out the samples which are uploaded to our system. Sometimes we buy them to use them in commercial ways. And our target is to create the system where each musician can upload any kind of samples and be paid by the play. So it's the new monetization model for musicians. For example, the brand or the individual pays the subscription and plays the music. And when your sample is being used inside the arrangement, you get the payment. So your payment is the couple of payments for the play, for the broadcasting your samples inside the streams.
Yeah, that's...
is it clear?
Yeah. No, it is. I'm just... it's kind of massive in my opinion. So and that is based on actual plays. It's not like just the kind of shares in the app or whatever. Like some of our listeners might already be aware of how messed up the system of paying out royalties is on streaming platforms like Spotify. Here, it seems like it will be very straightforward. So how to get started, and how do you yourself see what kind of samples and loops are uploaded and decide which will be monetized? Musicians can upload particular samples for monetization opportunities, or should they just start by creating their own streams? So what's the call to action here to the musicians?
So the call to action is to visit Mubert.com and to go to the page for producers. And then there you will find all the manuals how to start to work with Mubert. So it's very easy. You just create an account and you can create your own stream after that. As for the future, so I think that there are lots of opportunities for musicians to sign up today and to create their own music, which will be used inside the application and which will be soon monetized when the subscription model will be worked on the full. And as for buyout the samples, I think that the call to action is very easy. You just create your account on Mubert.com. You just need to visit the page for producers, and there you will find the manual how to create your first stream. And the next step will be the publishing the stream inside the application, inside our Instagram and our social networks. When the monetization model will be released in full version, you will get the opportunity to earn money on Mubert. Today, Mubert is not it's not the application for earning money for musicians. It's like the application for creating music with some monetization opportunities.
Yeah.
And after the release, there will be all the opportunities to get the money on the fair basis when you just get the money per each play of your sample. Yeah. So the more samples you upload, the more money you will get. And the more samples you upload, the more variative will be your streams, the more beautiful will be your music. today we have more than 1,000 of musicians who work with Mubert. They have the opportunity to publish their streams, or they can just make experiments with no publishing and to listen their streams by their own selves.
Okay, cool.
And yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense. And I didn't want to send the wrong message. Like, we're just talking about a monetization platform. It's not a stock music library, anything like that. It's not. We are not talking just about monetization as the only point of getting involved with Mubert. I just wanted to highlight that because, as you know very well, musicians are struggling to make any kind of just a few cents here and there can make a difference. And the fact that you have a model that I personally believe in succeeding, and it's quite straightforward, and the potential is there, especially if it's used for business purposes, and it's a different kind of money there potentially. So it's really cool. But from the creative perspective, and by the way, I never mentioned that, but one of the things that got me attracted to Mubert in the first place, why I even which got my attention potentially before I could listen to the streams, was the design. So it's slick, minimal, my kind of vibe there, but it's beautiful. So it's really cool to be associated with something that also looks good, and the fact that you can create streams for your own music. So this is something that we were discussing with this producer, a friend of mine, the other day, and I think that you've done something with one of your artists. Basically, you can create an ongoing mix for an LP, for an album, if you upload samples that you used for the creation of one album. It's clearly more relevant to electronic music producers out there, but you can create a unique experience out of a record that you've already created without even doing any special samples or anything like that. So yeah, do you have any cool case studies of how these streams have been used?
Yeah, sure. Actually, some time ago, we had a collaboration with Adidas. We have made the first ever live of generative music, when there was a large party for 500 people, and there was no DJ. There was just Mubert, and people were dancing. People were enjoying this music. Also, we have been worked with Miller. It's the non-alcoholic beer brand, and there was the large application when people have the opportunity to change the music with their mood. So it was the face recognition abilities, and the application changed the techno music with the mood of the person who is involved in this activity. And don't forget about our audience. Today we have the very young and very perspective audience. It's the trendsetters. It's the combination of hashtags like electronic music, black aesthetic, minimalistic, modern. So it's the new renaissance of the people who use this music for content creation. They dance with Mubert, they draw with Mubert, they make their own activities. And this audience is really young, and we call Mubert as the radio for Generation Z. It's the newborn of the radio, when you just choose the genre or choose the activity and get the opportunity to listen to music infinitely, with non-stops, with non-pauses, and you get your own personalized stream. So the next application will give the opportunity to change the music with like and dislike buttons. It will give the opportunity to learn the algorithm, to train the algorithm, and people will be able to share this music. And I hope that these opportunities will give the audience the new opportunities, the new approach to the music. And I think that Mubert will be one of the in-pocket apps which is used by people who just need the music.
Yeah, I feel you just made me feel kind of younger. As a millennial, it's probably one of the few apps popular among Gen Z that I enjoy using as well. But no, that does make sense about the audience and everything else you mentioned. So the plans on making it a bit more interactive are also very interesting. If you can personalize the experience by letting Mubert, the app, know which parts of the stream you like and not, right? So I just wanted to clarify that part. You basically, if you really like the combination of sounds that you're hearing right now, you just do a thumbs up kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just yeah.
That I would definitely use that because once again, I'm as someone who listens to streams on Mubert myself already, I could definitely see myself doing it maybe once in half an hour or an hour, just occasionally, so it can be kind of combined with just this passive experience. So if you're really into something that you hear, no, that does make sense. So yeah, I encourage everyone to download the mobile app as well. So it's free. There is a subscription thingy already in there. I think you're still experimenting with the subscription model for just listeners, for regular consumers. Any plans on that in particular?
Yeah, we will change the subscription model to another one. The music will be free, but there will be paid features. So, for example, if you want to change the intensity of the music right on the go, or if you want to share the music without a watermark, you will need to pay a regular subscription. So it will make it a little bit more easier than today.
Got it. Okay.
Because we need to experiment because we are a startup firstly, and the better monetization model is, the better it will be our future. So we need to experiment every day with it.
Yeah, no, totally. And I wish you good luck there, because we clearly want the app to and your company to keep developing, and you of course want it to be profitable in order to make it happen. No, really cool. I have all these, just small minor kind of clarifications and questions, because I feel personally involved in it as your customer anyway, as a consumer. I think your customers are other businesses, but yeah, this I think does make sense to those listening to us. Overall, it's just best to go on the website, and there is a section for creators as well. I'm linking to everything in the show notes, so the links are right there, easy to find, and you have some very clear explanations there. Yeah, anything else you want to share with our listeners on either the plans or maybe the future of music creation as you see it, something global like along those lines?
Yeah, I want to tell maybe some future plans about the product for producers. Firstly, because this podcast is for musicians, I think the main target is for musicians. So we want to build the collaboration tool when you will be able to mix your samples with another musician's samples, and when you will be able to create some collaborative streams. And we will use these streams also in our application in some experimental ways. And we also want to add the opportunity for content creators who, for example, makes video streaming or who make podcasts, to have this music, and to have all the artists all the producers who have uploaded the samples which were used by this podcast, and you will be able to mention them. And this will give the new opportunity for musicians to be more popular, to be more modern, and also want to improve our media algorithm, create something new. Every day we upgrade our algorithms, which work with arrangements, which work with the sounds, and we want to make Mubert. Mubert today sounds very good, and we have lots of plans to make it more and more and more, to increase the quality of the music. And as for listeners, we want to be the number one application of generative music. We want to become the new one radio for our listeners. And we also want to make Mubert the good business instrument for commercial brands, for applications, for mobile games. We want to become the largest provider of the generative music, which will give the new opportunities for these brands. So I want to start for some future plans for producers. We want to add some collaborative tools to give the opportunity for musicians to collaborate inside the platform, to mix your samples together, and to create some new experience for your music. Also, we begin to work with the labels, and we want to give the the instruments for labels to make the releases inside Mubert application, inside Mubert platform. We will create the new website where there will be released all the music by labels and by producers. If you are the independent producer, you will also have the opportunity to be released inside the application. And the next step will be the creating this monetization model, which I was talking about. So it will be I think the most flexible monetization model for musicians when you just need to upload just one sample and to get your money. And as for business and for individuals, we are working about improving our algorithm every day. We increase the quality of the sound. We increase the quality of this machine learning stuff. And we want to give the opportunity to listen to personal music to each human on the planet Earth. And we want Mubert to become the DNA, the music DNA for each listener. And the easiest way to get your music for your activities, and the easiest way to get your favorite music, which is generated by the algorithm. And this music will be the combination of the talent of musicians and the mood of the listeners who listen to this music in this time. So I think Mubert is the intersection between the musicians and the listeners. So it's the closest way to them to reach each other.
You just answered both of my questions about the future of Mubert and the future of music, in my opinion. So great stuff, exciting. And once again, the fact that you keep the music creators in the forefront here, just as your algorithm, it's massive. So good luck with everything. Great plans. We will be watching out this space, and I'm looking forward to the new versions of the app and the partnerships you might have. And thank you a lot for all the cool insights you shared with us today, Alex.
Yeah, thank you.
This is it. Mubert.com is the website, but I'm linking to it in the show notes. Of course, go to dotedmusic.com and check out a post called MGT129 and then the title of these very episodes. You'll find the links there, and just play with this tool. Really, there is a demo available on the website. You don't have to install the mobile app. I recommend that. It's a free, sleek looking and very well performing and minimalist app that just works. You just open the app, no need to create a profile. You just tap on the genre, on the mood, and you get this ongoing generative stream playing right away. And yeah, once again, you can check it out on the website as well. There is a section for producers. You can apply for beta and play with this tool, like, creating your own streams. Please send me links to the streams that you create as producers, if you do any. So all the electronic music producers among you who want to give it a try, who are given access to it, I really would like to hear your streams. I personally am interested in hearing this technology more. So yeah, and especially if it's coming from our community. So this is pretty much it. If you have any questions, let us know. We've got a lot of interesting episodes, lots more interesting episodes, I would say, planned for the nearest future. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe via email at musicgrowthtalks.com once again. And I really appreciate all of you being with me here. Thanks, until the next one.
You've been listening to Music Growth Talks with Andrew Apanov. Find more episodes and subscribe at musicgrowthtalks.com.